much for joining us tonight. I'm Olga Gura, and I'm a project coordinator from the Rural Pathways for Newcomer Women in Grey Bruce. A couple of words about our project. Rural Pathways for Newcomer Women in Grey Bruce project is an 18-month pilot project to learn how we can support visible minority newcomer women with their pathways to employment. The project is funded by Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada and led by the United Way Bruce and Grey in partnership with Welcoming Communities Grey Bruce, with the support of municipal social services, employment and community organizations across the region of Grey Bruce. Today, the Rural Pathways for Newcomer Women in Grey Bruce continue to test training webinars for employers in Grey Bruce to build their capacity working with newcomers. The themes for our webinars come from our surveys and consultation with employers, employment service providers, and community stakeholders in Grey Bruce. The theme for today's webinar came from the feedback on our previous webinars, where participants wanted to learn more about local resources to support employers and newcomers. The purpose of testing is to evaluate whether these webinars are helpful to employers in Grey Bruce to build their capacity working with newcomers. Today, we are going to talk about local resources to support employers and newcomers. Newcomers are often seen as a burden to Canadian economy. But newcomers not only fill the positions, they bring fresh perspective to existing business practices. They bring many benefits to Canadian workplaces. Just to mention their education, international work experience, their best willingness to work and help Canadians to grow their economy. With the change in demographics, newcomers gradually become the face of today's workplace. More and more businesses consider hiring international talent. As a project coordinator, I work with employers, and I noticed that with pandemic impact on local businesses, there is more and more interest in hiring newcomers. We receive many positive feedbacks from local employers who ventured to give newcomers a try. And there is certainly more interest to learn about how to support newcomer employees and create a balanced and welcoming workplace. Before we begin, just a little bit of housekeeping. This session is going to be recorded for training purposes. The recording will be the part of our project toolkit and will be available later on the Welcoming Communities Grey Bruce website. You will be given a chance to ask your questions. During presentation, please put your questions in the chat box and the speaker will answer the questions after the presentation. At the end of this webinar, I will ask you to fill a short evaluation. We are testing this webinar to make improvements. So after the project is finished, local immigration partnership and YMCA settlement services can continue training to build employers' capacity. All the webinar materials will be available later on Welcoming Communities website and in our toolkit. I would like to begin this webinar by acknowledging the history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of the land by the indigenous people of the region, the Sogin-Ojibwe Nation and the Three Fires Confederacy, namely the Odawa, Potawatomi, and Ojibwe nations. We seek a new relationship of respect, peace, and right relations as we live, work, and worship on their traditional territory. we are mindful of broken covenants and the need to strive for justice with all our relations. The webinar objectives. By the end of this webinar, you will learn about how employers can increase their capacity in supporting newcomer employees through getting involved with local immigration partnership, what support the YMCA settlement services can provide for newcomers. You will also learn about resources that help create inclusive workplace and how to access them. You will also learn what ESL programs are available for newcomers and how to access them. Meet our speakers. Melissa Avedisian from Local Immigration Partnership, Claudia Carlton, YMCA Settlement and Language Services Program Coordinator, Connie Jefferson from Contact North, and Andy Foster from Arden Language Center. Rural Pathways for Newcomer Women in Grey Bruce project is inviting new employers to participate and test. Oh, sorry, it went too far. Sorry. So meet our first speaker, Melissa Avedisian. Newcomers can become a solution to our business challenges, and business owners have a real opportunity to recognize this pool of skilled immigrants as business assets and use it to their full advantages. Our first speaker, Melissa Avedisian from Local Immigration Partnership, will be talking about how employers can increase their capacity in supporting newcomer employees through getting involved with Local Immigration Partnership. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Olga. It's been quite a pleasure being a part of these webinars, so thank you for having me again. I am just going to share my screen here and then we will get started. Can you see my screen okay, Olga?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So as Olga introduced, my name is Melissa Avedisian. I am the coordinator for the newly established Grey Bruce Local Immigration Partnership. I would like to introduce the partnership to you here today and then help to explain how this will benefit employers to get involved in. So let's get started. So I want to start with a brief history and timeline. So local immigration partnerships were launched as a pilot program in Ontario in 2008. And this was a joint venture between two departments at the time, Citizenship and Immigration Canada and the Ontario Ministry of Citizenship and Immigration. LIP presence since that time has since expanded to 8 other provinces and 2 territories. And now over a decade later, so if that was in 2008, 12 years later now, LIP has expanded to 8 other provinces and 2 territories. So IRCC, Immigration, Refugees, Citizenship Canada no longer considers LIPs to be pilot projects as they once started, but rather considers them to be an integral part of the settlement and integration landscape of Canada. So you will notice that they started in 2008 with just a couple as a pilot, and now I believe on our call the other day, they said there's over 36 LIPs throughout Canada. So this is a really exciting growth. And they've certainly recognized the importance of having LIPs in supporting our communities. In 2019, in April, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada announced that they were accepting applications for new local immigration partnerships. And as a result of the funding announcement, Grey and Bruce counties decided to partner to apply in order to serve the needs of newcomers across our entire region, so both Grey and Bruce counties. At the end of February 2020, notice of approval was received for funding to advance the activities of a LIP, in our Grey and Bruce region for the next 3 to 5 years. And then I was hired in July to start in the role of coordinator. And so that's when we really got things going. So for those of you that aren't familiar what a local immigration partnership, or LIP, is, they are community-based partnerships that support planning around the needs of newcomers. So specifically, they are partners that foster a systemic approach to engage settlement programs and other institutions in integrating newcomers. They support community-based knowledge sharing and local strategic planning, and they improve the coordination of effective services that facilitate immigrant settlement and integration. So as you'll notice from these points here, local immigration partnerships don't provide direct service to our newcomer communities, but rather they seek to bring all of our local service providers and community partners and employers and others who are engaging our newcomer communities directly, bringing all of those people together at the partnership table to address best practices, potentially address where there is a need that needs to be filled, and how we can work collaboratively to fill those gaps to better support our newcomer communities. And so for the Grey Bruce partnership specifically, LIPs engage a variety of stakeholders throughout different sectors. And so we held our first partnership council meeting 3 weeks ago, and we had about 30 partners represented. And then more recently, in the past 3 weeks, we've grown that partnership to include close to 50 partners. So we're really excited about the interest and the support of this initiative. So without naming everyone individually, I would just like to highlight some of the stakeholders that we will be engaging at our partnership council tables to give you an idea of the coverage that we have and the partners that we have involved who are supporting our newcomers together in a collaborative way. So we have representation from both county and municipal levels of government. We have our school boards represented, we have post-secondary representation, we have our labor market planning board there to represent that information and research piece. We have legal and police service representation. We have healthcare, as well as adult learning and language training representation. We have employment services involved, as well as our settlement services. We have community organizations, many of whom cover both Bruce and Grey counties. So it's great that our initiative does as well, so that we can work in partnership to really put our efforts towards serving both regions. And then we also have our businesses and business associations that are involved in supporting and employing our newcomer community. So the Grey Bruce Local Immigration Partnership specifically. So this initiative, as briefly mentioned, will address the isolation of newcomers in a large geographic area by increasing our capacity for what our region has identified as 3 C's is what we are focusing on. So the coordination, the connection, and collaboration of our community partners and our service organizations and our employers to foster a welcoming community. And so specifically, the initiative and funding will foster welcoming communities throughout Grey and Bruce by developing these community-based partnerships and planning based on the needs of newcomers in our region. We will also, from the LIP, be promoting the benefits of diverse and multicultural communities. We'll be working to leverage existing resources. I know that there's been many tools and resources created from such partners as the Rural Pathways Project, where we can all work together to leverage those resources, and again, also identifying gaps that may need to be addressed and how we can work together to deliver responsive and coordinated services. So next steps for the local immigration partnership. Again, we are in our infancy. We really started, we received our funding in April, but we really kicked off in July. So keeping in mind that we are in the very early stages, to give you an idea of our next steps.
Sorry for interrupting, Melissa. You have 3 minutes left.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. So as mentioned, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, has provided funding to us for 3 to 5 years, which is really exciting. It's a long-term project that we're really excited to build our capacity for our newcomer communities and be able to support our employers in the needs that they may have to support our newcomer communities and bring together all of our partners, community partners, and service providers, and really create this capacity for the next 3 to 5 years. One of our main objectives for this first fiscal year, which is through March 31st of 2021, is to develop our settlement strategy and action plan. So this is something that we're currently working on, and so we are engaging multiple stakeholders, including those of our partnership council, but also we will be coordinating an employer roundtable where we can get the support and information from our employers around best practices, where there are challenges, so that we can really hear from those that have this information to provide, so that we can work with our partners and our employers and our service providers to be able to really better support our newcomer community. And so the settlement strategy and action plan is something, as I said, that we're working on currently. And so we should have it prepared by the end of the first fiscal year, which is March 31st. And that will help us to guide us through the action plan for the work that will need to be completed for the next 2 through 5 years. Also keeping in mind that it will need to remain flexible, because in our current situation, things are changing quite quickly. So making sure that we keep it flexible as well. And then also through Grey Bruce Local Immigration Partnership, I would just like to note that we will be providing support to all of our partners, including our employers. LIP is really here to be your first point of contact for any resources that you may need to support you in attracting and retaining a diverse workforce. So we may not have the direct tools, but we can certainly put you into contact with those who would have the appropriate resources or tools. We're really that first link, so that we can hear from you what it is you're looking for and provide you with the best guidance as to the different services and organizations that can provide you that.
You have 20 seconds.
Thanks, May. Those opportunities, really connecting you with who you need to be connected with, because there are a lot of great resources and a lot of great partners in Grey and Bruce that already have these services available. So being able to provide you with that information. And then, as well as I said, and I'll just wrap up here, May, we will be looking at having a roundtable discussion before the end of the fiscal year, so that we can hear from our employers to be able to provide that insight for our settlement strategy and action plan, and how we can move forward in best supporting our newcomer communities and our business community. So if by all means you have any interest in being a part of those conversations, I very much encourage you to reach out to me. That hasn't been scheduled yet, but we'll be looking at that at the end of this year or early next year in January. So I will put my contact details on the screen here, but they'll also be available through Olga and May. So again, I very much encourage you to reach out to me if you'd like to be a part of those discussions. We would love to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. It's great. I will certainly share your contact information with everyone who attended this webinar. So I'm looking just if anyone has questions to Melissa. Because Local Immigration Partnership is a new program, and it's good to learn more. And I myself, I'm looking forward more to learn about the opportunities that Local Immigration Partnership brings to employers. Melissa, I'm wondering, Grey Bruce is a very large geographic area, so isolation and disconnection are big issues for our region. And many people, not only newcomers, with limited transportation access, have very limited access to employment. I was very excited to learn about the start of the project, the partnership of driver's seat company with Grey County. And so far, I understand this partnership is going to address this issue. Can you tell us a little bit more about future plans, how our area is going to be connected, how people can access their jobs?
Sure. So yeah, it's a really exciting project that Grey County has initiated, the one that you're speaking of specifically. And I would have to confirm with our transportation manager how the project is planning to move forward, but I know that some of the routes have started. Full details can be found at gray.ca/gray-transit-route. I know that they have already started running some routes along certain main highways to some of the more populated vicinities. So Owen Sound, Town of Blue Mountains, and I believe it also goes up into Wyerton. I'm not sure if that route has started yet. They're kind of bringing them out in phases. But it's certainly an exciting opportunity to be able to move our employees and our community members who need a mode of transportation for sure. And so knowing that transportation has been a concern, it's definitely something that we will keep our eye on, and something that we are very fortunate that with all of our partners at the table, we should be hearing that feedback and then be able to work together collaboratively, including with both of the counties and the municipalities, about how we're going to address those issues.
So Olga, Connie
Yeah.
put in a question in the chat, and her question is, would a newcomer reach out to the LIP directly, or they go through a community partner?
So,
Great question. Thanks, Connie.
Yeah, so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but generally speaking, a newcomer would reach out to the YMCA, who is currently funded to do the settlement services and language training. And so they're a great resource to have. I know that they are very connected to our communities and the other service providers that we have available here in our communities to support our newcomers. And so I would recommend a newcomer to connect directly with the YMCA settlement services.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you.
So, no more questions. Well, as our world becomes more and more digital, we take more steps towards online learning and digital resources. Our next speaker, Connie Jefferson from Contact North, she is online learning recruitment officer for Contact North for Gray and Bruce County. She will be presenting about online learning resources to support employers and newcomers. Connie wears on many hats. She is the president of Lucknow and District Chamber of Commerce. Connie has always wanted to do more to support local residents, so to be the best they could be. So she is also the online learning recruitment officer for Contact North for Gray and Bruce County, where she provides students with access to education, literacy, basic skills, and training. So welcome, Connie.
Thank you so much, Olga. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. And can you see my slides up on the screen?
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
wonderful.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me to present this evening. We just got a heck of a rainstorm, so I'm going to keep my picture off because my bandwidth is showing yellow lines and I would hate to be kicked out altogether. So if that's okay, I will try to put my picture back up when I'm done so that people can see who I am.
Yeah.
So a little bit about Contact North. Again, thank you, Olga. My name is Connie Jefferson. I am the Online Learning Recruitment Officer for Gray and Bruce County. Very large territory. I go all the way up to Tobermory, back down to Lucknow, and across to Point Clark, and everywhere in the middle. Right now, we're still working out of our homes. We're hoping to be back in our centers by the end of October. And I do intend to be back up in Wyerton next week. Actually, I think it's next Wednesday, meeting with students. So we are full speed ahead and quite excited. Oh, look at that. My slideshow isn't working. Sorry about that. Let's try that again. There we go. Does that look better? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. That's much better. Looked like it froze on me there. Can you guys still see that? Still see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, thank you. Contact North is a community-based organization. We help underserved Ontarians in over 600 small, rural, remote, Indigenous, Francophone communities to get jobs. We make it possible for them to access education and training without leaving their community, which means free resources to everyone. We are funded by the Government of Ontario, and you don't need necessarily a referral to be connected to us. We work on family and friends. In fact, I just took 2 calls today that someone had found one of our brochures and we're just interested, now that they're at home still with no childcare, that they're going to pursue ECE. So we are certainly thrilled, although a little disappointing with what's going on in the world, thrilled that people are seizing the opportunity in a positive light to keep working on enhancing their skills. Stop and start recorded lectures. Many classes that we operate allow you to stop and start your lectures many times during the week. Now, how is this a benefit? Mainly because if you are struggling at all with understanding, or you want to make your own notes, you get to have an opportunity to pause it, make a note, then verify it, maybe ask yourself some questions. You can make as many notes by rewinding and going forward as you need to before moving on and losing that train of thought. Organization, time management, accountability, resources, and participation. Probably 5 of the greatest skills that we can all use to improve on in not only our everyday life, but as a business owner, I know I certainly can have my teams doing this frequently. And with the Chamber of Commerce, another thing that there's just not enough hours in a day. When it comes to organization, we can all use a couple of tweaks here and there to make sure we stay on track with our readings when it comes to education, whether it's learning a job description, whether it's improving languages through Mango, and I will share that in a little bit, or whether it's taking a course through ESL to help with languages as well. Time management, that is so much based on how we can set it up as individuals. We need to make sure that we are dedicating time. We need to put time in our day timers for things that we need to get done for our personal life, just as much as we need to for our professional and our educational lives. I have some students who literally put on a pair of earbuds and are listening to something while they're doing the dishes, or whether they are taking their children for a walk, or unfortunately while they're doing something else that may be a repetitive task at work, so that they can accomplish 2 things. Accountability, we all need to hold ourselves accountable. We need to be able to lead by example, and we need to be able to organize our day around getting things completed so that we don't fall behind. Again, that work-life balance, very important for our own, mental health, our own family time, because we know there's not enough time in a day. Knowing your resources. We need to become familiar with all of them, all of the helplines that are out there, because this will help us remove unnecessary stress and anxiety. And as business owners, operators, organizations, we all have so many stressors in our lives. Add family on top of that, add different responsibilities, and we need to know where our outlets are. We need to have done that little bit of homework for ourselves first. Participation. Again, as Olga mentioned, being with the Chamber of Commerce has helped me identify and reach out to many business owners, because we're all in this together. I mean, we're all dealing with the same concerns. We're all dealing with the same training. So why not pool our resources? Why do we need to reinvent the wheel? If we know that our neighboring business owner has something that's successful with Newcomers that's working, reach out, ask them for pros and cons, have a conversation. That's how things are improved on. And if there's something that you can offer in return, by all means, that's how we give and take as business owners. Whoop. sorry about that. Education and training options. We are so fortunate that we have so many educational partners that we deal with Contact North. We're fortunate that we deal with all the 24 public colleges, the 22 public universities.
Sorry for
70
interrupting, Connie. You have 3 minutes left.
What? Okay, talk faster. All right. Okay. So, excuse me, all of the educational partners that we have are definitely something that is of asset and strength to all of our students, because they get to learn more from them, see different courses, workplace skills, same opportunities there. Resources in regards to, we're so fortunate. We have so many students that come with an amazing portfolio of prior education that we want to be able to work with them in getting their credits looked after through the WEST program for World Education Services. They do assessments, and they are probably, I don't want to say a secret, but they really need to make themselves more aware to our educated population, whether it be advertising, something like that, if they're not going to reach out to an educational provider. This was one little video. I think based on time, I will just go over it for right now. This is definitely more important. The Learning Express library helps individuals with career preparation, learning more about careers and workplace skills that would be a benefit to them in their future preparation, whether it's career, whether it's learning the GED, a college admin test, or whether it's for their citizenship test. This website would be a benefit, and I can most definitely show them that.
You have 1 minute left.
The local resources, I don't think I've ever spoke so fast in my life. Local resources and support for the employers here. It just gives us an idea of, we can do the webinars, we can do high school diplomas online, we can work with organizations, we can help. We're here to be of assistance to you. These are just some of the diversity programs that are out there that are value added, which is what our word is for free, so people can see that they are available. One of our services that is a true strength is our technical support. We offer Adobe Connect. We do Zoom platforms where people can have internal training for cross-referencing, cross-training through departments to save in training. We will work with WMIS, Office Administration. These are all things that we would do on a case-by-case or business-to-business. Whether your employees need something specific, we would work with them on an individual basis, so that it doesn't matter where they are currently in their knowledge or education, we take it to where they would like to be. We want to make sure that they understand that we're here for them, and whether it's an employer, an employee, a newcomer, Contact North's greatest asset is making it all about the student. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Connie. It's a great presentation. So, does anyone have questions?
So I just saw that Jennifer Trembeth has a comment to Melissa's presentation earlier on. And she said, I think also that if they reach out to any one of our partners, that we could refer them to others. That is a great source of group for them. So referring to the LIP.
That is a wonderful comment, Jennifer. I agree. Because since our project started, one of our major focuses is on partners collaboration, especially in rural communities where people, groups, and organizations are so disconnected, it becomes the key. So I totally agree with what you commented. I just wanted to add my little comment on Connie's presentation. Since I met Connie and I learned more about Contact North, I realized how versatile is the platform. I would say this is one-stop online shopping for education and training. So just I personally, I signed up and I already took a couple of courses and I'm hoping to take more. Connie, you just mentioned it, that there is the opportunity for businesses to use IT platform like Zoom Professional for in-house training. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. And thank you for that question. It's definitely a great strength that we have. And I believe we're actually using it here tonight. United Way is using the Zoom Professional, and it keeps everything together. You have IT support. You can log in from anywhere. You don't get timed out. I think we have up to 5 hours, if I'm not mistaken. The strength of having something looked after by someone else is always just a little bit easier. And in regards to cross-training, if we use United Way for an example, you can identify what is needed in your organization. You can create, let's just say that it was Excel, for lack of a better phrase. Let's just say you all needed to improve your Excel. We could create that Excel program that you would need for the training, put it into your log or your library, and each employee that comes into your organization can go into that library and take that exact same course, so that you're all getting the exact same training. Nobody's reinventing the wheel, and you get the opportunity to know that they've taken it for accountability.
So Andy Foster asked in the chat, is it for everybody to use? So we know that it is. So maybe Connie, maybe you can explain how people can access the resources.
Sure, great question, Andy. How it works is that you would reach out to Contact North and let them know you're interested. There is a fee, and it would be set up. Trish Trenter, who is my boss, that is her area of expertise. So you would reach out, we would make the initial contact, we would set it all up, see if you have anything that you're ready to load in now. We would make sure everything is compatible, and it's just pretty much that easy. It's definitely not difficult. Once you've got your account paid, then IT support is at your fingertips, and it just begins.
So maybe Andy, did you mean the technical platform or the resources, accessing the resources?
Both. Yeah, I was curious of both. So yeah, that's amazing. For the first part.
So did you mean resources?
Yes, resources.
Yeah, I was trying to connect you with Connie before, and certainly just I highly recommend Contact North as one-stop shopping for so many resources, from parenting to university online. Connie will be better answering this question.
We do. I think the only thing you have to keep in mind is we do require the individual to be 18 years of age and older, but after that, it is definitely the sky's the limit with the course content that we can share. There's thousands, there's got to be, I don't even want to guess at a number, but there are literally thousands of different courses, and then we would partner with, whether it be the post-secondary colleges and universities, and it really is just based on needs of the student and what you're looking for to achieve.
So Connie, my understanding is that each individual will, in order for them to pick and choose the resources that they need or want to look at, they need to subscribe to an account, right?
It depends. I mean, they can definitely get into LinkedIn Learning, or they can get into the Brampton Library or Bruce County Library, or it just depends which course that we're discussing. They can do their high school diploma, but I mean, to answer that part, yes, you would need to sign up for a free account, but it's not necessarily only that way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Connie. Well, I will be happy to share Connie's contact with everyone, and you can ask more questions on individual basis, but believe me, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm doing that and it's worth it. So let's go on, guys. With newcomers rapidly relocating to our community, the federal government provided funding for several local programs that will help newcomers to settle and find employment and support locally. Our next speaker, Claudia Carlton, YMCA Settlement and Language Service Program Coordinator, will tell us what support the newly opened YMCA Settlement Services can provide for newcomers. Claudia, welcome.
Thank you very much. So I am here to talk about the newly Grey Bruce Settlement and Language Services. And can I share? Oh, I do. Okay. Let me just share my screen. I do have a little PowerPoint presentation. Can you see that? Yep. Okay. So Grey Bruce Settlement and Language Services is a collaborative effort between the YMCA of Owen Sound Grey Bruce and Welcoming Communities of Grey Bruce. So the Welcoming Communities has over the last 15 years worked on a variety of projects related to newcomers and working on reducing barriers and supporting inclusive communities. And the YMCA across Ontario and Canada have had a long-standing history of providing these kinds of settlement services. So this collaboration has a strong foundation to provide newcomers to Grey Bruce with excellent service. As Olga said, in April of this year, we received funding to start settlement services in the area, and in May we began delivery of this service. And have been assisting newcomers in all sorts of ways ever since. Our program is fully funded through the Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada. And we are so happy to be here. So what are settlement services? Our services are here to assist newcomers to Canada and are also called immigrant serving agencies. As I previously mentioned earlier, they're fully funded by the IRCC and are also free to eligible clients. We are here to support newcomers adjust, integrate, and settle into their new life in Canada, as well as offer one-on-one support. At present time, we offer services remotely, and because we started all of this during COVID, we've never had a mobile service delivery yet, but hopefully when things open up, we will be able to meet with clients in their own communities throughout Grey and Bruce. We did this week started to have appointments for one-on-one, and our settlement workers have already had a couple of appointments with people. Our services are always private and confidential. Information is never shared without your permission. And our staff speaks a variety of languages, and we do draw upon volunteer interpreters when required. So because it is a funded program through the IRCC, there are some eligibility requirements. So the main eligibility is for clients with permanent residency, or they're also called landed immigrants. So anybody that does not have a Canadian citizenship. Or you can be a person that has received an approval in principle letter for their application for permanent residency. You can be a convention refugee or a protected persons. What we offer, we usually do like this is basically we have a few actions or activities that we offer. So there's settlement and there's language services. So in the settlement part, we assist the newcomers we figure out, we do a one-on-one meeting, and then we have some workshops and also community connections. I will go into more detail in the following slides. Our settlement team is here to provide a one-on-one support, answer questions, help find the resources that are needed in the community. So we offer assistance in a variety of ways. So first we start with a one-on-one meeting to create your personal plan. So we identify your needs, individual needs, preferences, strengths, and we help newcomers achieve these goals. So we can help with completing of application forms and other documents, navigating local systems such as daycare, healthcare, public school, education, recreation, income assistance, taxes. We find other programs and services within the community. We provide referrals to other programs like counseling or employment services or language assessments or children and youth services, legal issues, citizenship. We can communicate with employers or landlords or special social and government services. We can also help clients learn about the Canadian life and culture, and we do provide assistance and referrals for education licensing or accreditation. Our second activity is our information and orientation. So we offer group or one-on-one information sessions or workshops that about important settlement topics such as life in Canada or the local community. We have speakers from the community and other government agencies that come in and just like this, we deliver up-to-date information about our services. We've had a workshop on education where we had Connie and we had somebody from Georgian College come in and speak to the group about education in Canada. We've also had, last month we had business one-on-one, how to start a business, where we've had speakers from Grey and Bruce County, as well as two newcomer business owners that came to speak to the workshop. And this month we have partnered with CMHA and we're offering some mental health workshops. But other topics that could come up would be, the main one would be citizenship classes. There's also could be banking in Canada, housing, voting, adjusting to winter, parenting, anything that we find that a newcomer might need. So the ones that we just did, so the education and the business, were just based on who we saw in these first couple of months.
Sorry for interrupting. Claudia, you have 3 minutes left.
Okay, so the other one's community connections. So we offer conversation circles in which they can practice their English in an informal setting. We're currently offering these twice a week. We can do field trips in the community. These have been put on hold because of COVID, but hopefully we can get back to them. We offer our LINC language classes. So LINC stands for Language Instruction for Newcomers to Canada. These classes are part of a government-recognized LINC program and are based on requirements from the Centre for Canadian Language Benchmarks. And as such, we are able to offer a certificate upon completion when which meets the requirements for citizenship, without students having to pay for a third-party test. To participate in these classes, you do have to have complete a placement assessment. So a settlement worker will meet with a client and they would refer them to an assessment center, and then the assessment center will place them in the appropriate level for class. That could be in our area, or right now, since it's online, it could be somewhere else. And we also teach from levels literacy to CLB 6. Right now we're offering them mostly in the evening. We only have one class in the morning or during the day. The rest of the classes, all other 4 classes, are in the evening from 7 to 9:30.
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, I had some achievements in there, but I guess we are here to we assist clients with services that were once referred out of the community, such as accreditation assistance or language proficiency certification. We are now here to offer that help. Let's go to the summary. So in summary, we help clients meet their settlement goals. So we identify their goals. We take steps to help them make Canada home. I am an immigrant myself, so I know that how hard it's been for myself and my family. So we try to be here to help everybody else, so they don't get to the roadblocks we did when we moved here. And this is just our contact information. So our settlement team consists of 2 settlement workers. So Melissa and Sanit are our settlement workers. And then there's Ian and Shafak, which are our language instructors, and myself, the coordinator for the program. And that's it.
Thank you
have
so
any
much,
questions?
Claudia. That is a great presentation. Do you have any questions, guys? Oh, while people are thinking, Claudia, it was actually, the time was running so fast. I'm wondering, like, you know, we have so many highly educated newcomers moving to our community. And you just mentioned that you have some services to help with credentials and skill recognition. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because there is certainly the interest about to that.
So we helped a few people. We can't really do the accreditation ourselves. So we help people choose the right path, whether it's west or some, like there's only 3 ways to go. So we make sure, depending on what the client wants to do with the accreditation, it depends on where they want to go or who they will get their accreditation through. So we help with that, and we help with the application process as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Claudia. Any
You're
more
welcome.
questions? Any more questions to Claudia? Well, just I will be happy to share Claudia's contact, and if you have more questions, you can direct these questions to Claudia later. Just, I would like to introduce our last speaker, Andy Foster. Andy is co-founder of Arden Language Center of Owen Sound. After working 15 years in Eritrea, Sudan, and Egypt, Andy and her spouse, David, landed in Owen Sound and started the center. Arden Language Center is a full-time ESL program. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me and see okay? Hopefully you can. Thank you so much for this time. Yeah, it's been great hearing all the presentations, and it's just exciting to see what's happening in this region right now. Like Olga said, my husband and I were overseas for 15 years, and we came back just for the summer, and our church had sponsored a family from originally from Eritrea, and we were waiting on our visa. And so they said, while you're waiting, can you help them? My husband was already an ESL instructor overseas, and so he started working with them. And then funny as things go, we went from 2 students to, in about a year, to 40 students as more and more families around here started sponsoring. And so, yeah, the Arden Language Center was started in 2015. And our goal is to have a full-time program. And so we run a full-time 5 days a week program for our students. And we use all 4 areas: reading, speaking, listening, And with that, we use the Cambridge program called Ventures. So it's a pretty intensive program, but it's been really, really exciting to be part of. So my question to you would be, what if it was you? If you were sent to a new country with a new language, could you do what you do now? Most of us, I think the answer would be no, if it was a different language that we didn't know. And how long and what would it take for you to be able to do that? This is a silly picture of my husband and I when we first went overseas in Sudan. And we did not have a word of Arabic. We had no clue what we were doing. And I still study the language 15 years later. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time. And that is where our passion is like Claudia said, and everyone, we want people here to be able to feel at home and to understand. English is a big part of that, is not only just understanding it, but being able to speak it and read it and all that. So we're pretty passionate about English and what gifts it gives you by knowing another language. So there was a study by Stanford University that showed that oral proficiency in adults takes 3 to 5 years to develop, and academic English proficiency can take 4 to 7 years. And that is what we have found over the last 5 years. Most of our students that have graduated, it's taken over 3 years for them to go from 0 level, if they already were at least literate in letters, of the English language, literate, up to, it takes at least about 3 years. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So Arden Language Center, what do we do? So we have the full-time program. One of our goals is to have small classroom sizes. So right now we have 6 classes running a day. Our smallest class is 3 students and our largest class is 8 students. In each of our levels, we measure progress. So there's each unit, they have tests, they have homework every night, spelling tests on Fridays, they have exams each unit, so each level. So it's a pretty intensive program. We have specialty classes, we have a citizenship class we run for our students once they're at the highest level, which is, let's see, that would be upper intermediate. And then we do CELPIP training and pronunciation for some of our students who may have a very great grasp of English, but it's hard to understand them. So we have some special classes for them as well. Our goal is community integration. And so before COVID, we'd have a lot of field trips. Here's a picture of some of our ladies tobogganing last year. And our goal is to do life together. So before COVID, we had 35 plus volunteers that would come in each week. Olga was one of them, and teach. So we, at that point, had 6 classes going with different teachers and helpers. Now, because of how things are, our volunteers are on the side more. We have a few of them working, but most of it is us teaching. And we currently have over 10 countries represented, so it's pretty special. One of our classes with the 8 students has 8 students from 8 countries, so it's pretty neat. And then we also, because Dave and I speak Arabic, we do quite a bit of translation just on the side to help out when students need it. So this is our team, myself, Dave, and Christina. We did not plan to dress all in the same color that day, but that's what happened. So that's us in our church where we run the program. Even with COVID, we still go there each morning at 7:30 and get set up for our classes. And although it's just the 3 of us there, so it's not as exciting. And this is just some of the pictures of, with permission from the students, of just different get-togethers pre-COVID. So I just wanted to encourage you with a few quick stories of success. Again, these students gave me permission to share the stories. The first one here with the hard hat is Najat. Najat arrived in Canada on August 25th, 2016, and she is now doing her PSW. So it is pretty incredible at Georgian College. I asked her how important was English to learn, and she said, if she had to give advice, and she said, you really, really need to learn English. You need to learn reading, listening. You need to have contact with other Canadians and to know their accents. And it's amazing right now. She's almost done her PSW, and then her dream is to do a little bit of work in that and then go on to become a registered nurse. The next picture here is one of our first graduates, Hudger. This is her hugging one of our volunteers at her party, or at the graduation party at the church for her. She came, and her famous story is about when she arrived in Toronto and went to a convenience store because she needed to get something. She got someone to write down on a piece of paper what she needed, and she went there and said, "I need a Pahone card." And of course they didn't understand. What she needed was a phone card. So she's gone from that to now she is a Canadian citizen. She's studying at the college full-time as well. And when she came, her dream was to learn English to be a chef, but now my dream is to be a businesswoman. So that was her quote there. So it's pretty incredible. And just two other quick stories.
Sorry, Andy, you have 3 minutes left.
Yes, thank you. I've been timing too. And then here is Khadija. Khadija is another wonderful student. When she arrived, she did not know how to read or write in English. And now she is doing absolutely incredible. Last year, before COVID, she wrote a speech and spoke at the local Kiwanis Club to share with them what she's learned and what it was like to be a newcomer. So again, just an incredible, incredible success. And lastly here is Noor, one of our gems. She came also in August, and she came with a dream to learn English. And in those 3 years, she not only learned English, when she went for her CELPIP test, she got, I think, the highest out of any of our students, just did absolutely incredible. And she says, this is my favorite quote, she said, "My dream was and still is to help people who don't know English." And here's a woman who herself didn't know English when she arrived, and her dream is to help other people. So I think that's just incredible. Just these are four beautiful women, just, you know, 4 examples of many, many more stories that I could share with you. And they were happy. They wanted to just ask that if any of you are employers to, you know, allow them to have the time to study English, to do whatever it took to just, because in the future they will be able to help you a lot. And so this is what programs look right now, you know, online. And so that's Christina and Dave happily teaching, and a picture at the bottom there of what it used to look like when we could be all together. That was just we did many baby showers. So, and so, yeah, that is what I wanted to share. It's been exciting 5 years, and we really enjoy just all that's happening and all the newcomers that are coming to this area. If anyone would like more information, there's my name and phone number and email address. So thank you again for this time, Olga.
Thank you so much for the great presentation, Andy. You know, Arden is very dear to my heart. This is the place where everyone feels included. And I'm very confident about saying that because I've been there and my heart belongs here. And the students also feel understood, included, and welcomed. I'm wondering if anyone have questions for Andy. Well, while people are thinking, Andy, you covered so many things in your presentation, but maybe just can you tell us who is the typical, can you describe a typical student of your school? And I would also like you to mention the admission requirements for Arden.
Yeah, a typical student, I'd say there really isn't one because we aren't funded from outside, so we can take anyone who comes in, which is great. So we have pre-literate students. We have a new student starting tomorrow, actually, you know, just learning how to read and write, up to people who've come who were in university back in their own countries. So like I said, quite diverse, both, you know, people who've come as immigrants, who've come as refugee claimants, and people who've, you know, arrived with permanent residence cards. So yeah, so it's quite diverse. And then if people want to join, then they just usually call or email, contact us. We do an assessment with them and through the Cambridge program. And then they can usually start within the next week. We order their books, and then once they arrive, we have now students also joining us from other countries. So we have students in Iraq studying with us, in Egypt studying with us, and then Alberta, different places.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been fun. It's been fun.
So it seems like no special requirements like citizenship or PR, since you have even, you started international admission. Wow, the school is really growing.
And we also do scholarships for anyone who can't afford or just, it's, you know, with COVID. So that we don't want it ever to stop anyone. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
And
wow.
I just saw this wrote, is there a fee? No, since COVID started, we stopped, like for anyone who is on, yeah, just coming into the program, if they can't afford it, we just say no, there's no fee. And for people who would like to give a donation, then they can, but there's no fee.
Thank you so much, Andy, for your time. So just for those who may have later questions for Andy, I will be happy to share her contact information. And as well, I would like to let you know that the slides from PowerPoint presentation is going to be available, and I will share the slides with you via email. Let me just, our webinar is almost over, but before I say the final bye, I would like also just wait to share something. Just give me a second. That's technology. So our project is almost over. We will be wrapping up by the end of December this year, but we still continue to test our webinars as the training tool for employers to build their capacity working with newcomers. And we hope to host one more webinar on best practices to hire, support, and retain newcomer employees. I hope to do it by the end of October. So I will share the link for registration with you later and announce the date. Another thing to mention, this is our 4th webinar. The project conducted 3 successful webinars in August on working with newcomers. One is creating diverse and inclusive workplace. Another on overcoming culture and language barriers, and the third one on addressing the barriers of credentials and skill recognition. For those who did not attend but would like to have access to the webinar is available on Chamber of Commerce website, and I will share the link via email too. Just let me share how it looks like. Yeah. There is we partnered with Owen Sound and Chamber District Chamber of Commerce, and 3 recordings with evaluation forms are available, and they look like that. There is one link for all 3 of them. And I find the information is relevant and quite interesting. And I personally take pride of me being able to invite fantastic, I'm telling you, fantastic speakers. So I will share the link with you. Oops. Stop sharing one, sharing another. One thing more I would like to ask you to do for me. oops. Just this, we testing these webinars, and your feedback is very important to us. I created very short 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, very short anonymous evaluation form on SurveyMonkey. And I'm going to share the link to evaluation in the chat box. Please help us to improve, fill up the form. I will do that. And the last one, last but not least, I would like to thank you, all of you who attended this webinar with us. Thank you for being with us tonight. Let me stop. I'm very thankful to all of our wonderful speakers. I think the information presented was great and is going to be very helpful for all of you who attended our webinar. Just a second, let me share I will share the link. Okay. One moment, technology. I can't locate. My cursor is moving. I apologize for the technical issues. Just give me a second. The cursor is moving. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I have some issues with my screen. You know, the cursor is moving, but I cannot locate the cursor. I've never had anything like that before. I hope I will send you the link to evaluation, to our evaluation via email, and I really hope you can fill up the evaluation. I'm so sorry again for the technical difficulties. Everything that was invited in, that was actually created by people is not perfect, including the perfect technology. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much for all the wonderful speakers. And I hope you will have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Oh, I finally have the cursor. You know, I don't know what's supposed to happen. Yes, Claudia, you made the difference. You know, your voice located the cursor. And now, oh, just a second, not to everyone, to everyone. See, just your voice triggered the cursor. So I'm sharing the link to our evaluation form on SurveyMonkey. Again, this is totally anonymous. It takes not more than 2 minutes, the most. 2 minutes with coffee, tea, and piece of cake. But by doing that, you will really help us to improve. And yes, I will be emailing it as well too, because your feedback is very important. It makes the difference. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for presenters, and thank you for our participants. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.